Hey everyone, and welcome to the Shirt of Shame breakdown for UFC 212, Aldo versus Holloway. A real kind of underwhelming, I guess, build to this card. I wish they'd put a little more effort into this one. I forgot that it was this Saturday. And I love Max Holloway. I love Jose Aldo. I was looking to that fight, and I forgot that it was this Saturday. I'm going to be breaking down the card. I'm going to start with the fight, or the prelims. Rafael Assunção versus Marlon Moraes. Marlon Moraes making that jump over to the UFC from World Series of Fighting. I think it was World Series of Fighting. Correct me if I'm wrong. Walking in this one, I'm surprised at how much these guys are pretty much the same fighter. They have not only do they have equal height and reach, but they fight very similarly. They both rely on an overhand right. They throw lots of leg and body kicks. Got to look at their past performances, though. Assunção has a win over Aljamain Sterling after a loss to TJ Dillashaw. Then wins over Brian Caraway and Pedro Munoz. While Marlon Moraes has a stoppage win, is on a finishing streak. He's got stoppage wins over Josinaldo Silva, Josh Hill, Joseph Barrios, and Shaman Moraes. That's when I was looking that up. I figured that had to be the weirdest marquee ever. Moraes versus Moraes. It's just weird. I thought it was funny. But my whole thing is that in a fight that's this close, I just have to look at Moraes. He's more known for his finishes. He's more known to be able to finish the job than Assunção is. So I'm just going to look past the octagon jitters, and I'm going to go with Moraes on this one. Probably by some sort of finish. Let's say KO in the first. After that, our first fight on the main card is Eric Silva versus Yancy Medeiros. Once again, equal height and reach. We've got to look at what these guys don't like. Eric Silva doesn't like to get kicked in the body. He doesn't like people who fight on the outside. He needs to rush guys, and he needs to hopefully finish in the first round before his gas tank wears out. Medeiros is a horrible matchup for him. He plays distance, he likes to work jabs and body kicks. Medeiros can fight both stances. That's just something he likes to switch between southpaw and orthodox, depending on who he's fighting. He just likes to have that overhand hook and body and head kicks available. But what Medeiros needs to do is avoid letting Silva push him up against the fence and hold him there and bully him. I'm not sure what weight this is being fought at, because Eric Silva's typically a welterweight. Medeiros is typically a lightweight. Haven't been able to find much to say what this fight is being held at. But I'm just going to say Medeiros by decision on this one. After that, we got Paulo Barrochino Costa versus Alawal Bangbos. Bangbos comes into this one with a 2-inch reach and the nickname the Holy War Angel. On his UFC website summary, it literally has Jesus as one of his strong points. So who am I to go against Jesus? I'll tell you how. Bengos has a very smooth Taekwondo style. He loves a good head kick. He likes to throw that technique a lot. He's very relaxed. Borrachina is coming into this fight with 9 straight first round finishes. I've watched some of his fights. He fights a lot like a middleweight Overeem, a very heavy-handed, hard-striking kickboxer. Looking at the grappling, I don't know how much you really need to look into that. Borrachino was able to hurt some people and convinced them to shoot in for takedowns, which he was able to defend. So I'm just going to have to say that he was able to, that his takedown defense is good enough, but who knows. So I'm just going to say Borshina by first round knockout, and let's see if he can climb that ladder. I'd like to see that. After that, our showcase fight, Vitor Belfort and what is his last fight in the UFC. These guys, once again, coming in equal height and reach. I don't have many points on this one because all I have to say is look no further than Vitor Belfort versus Dan Henderson 3. Nate is an orthodox fighter. His hand's gonna be down, and Vitor's gonna come over with that head kick that he loves so much. Nate he's a good fighter, but he fights a lot like Dan Henderson. He's heavy and lumbering. Vitor will pressure him and then connect with that famous Vitor head kick and probably finish him in the first round. That's just how I see it happening. Then our co-main event of the evening, we got Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Claudia Gadelha. Karolina coming in with a 2-inch reach advantage. Both girls that have just been beaten up by the champion, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But going into that, you have to look at how they did against Joanna. Claudia had a great game plan going into her last fight. She wanted to keep the fight on the ground, wear Joanna out, and she took those first 2 rounds from Joanna, and she still had a lot of success in that third. But Joanna showed that heart of a champion and came back in those last 3 rounds when Claudia had blown her gas tank. But it's a 3-round fight. I don't think it's going to be a problem for Claudia. I think it's more likely that Claudia will be able to bully Karolina into a grappling contest and connect with some power strikes. Looking at Karolina's closest style matchup that she's fought to, like Claudia's closest that she's had to fight was Joanna, and Karolina will bring pretty much the same style of fight to this that Joanna brought against Claudia. Just try and keep it standing and pick her apart with good Muay Thai combos. But Karolina had a good fight against Randa Marcos, which Randa Marcos and Claudia Gadelha are very similar fighters. Both with great ground games, solid wrestling. Claudia is just a bit stronger, more developed stand-up game. Really good on her feet, really strong. As long as Claudia is able to avoid those clinch knees, I think Claudia has a clear-cut path to victory in this one, and she's probably going to hang around that #1 contender spot for a long time, and we might end up seeing Joanna versus Claudia again sooner rather than later. And Jose Aldo versus Max Holloway, our main event of the evening, champion versus champion in the most convoluted division in UFC history, I think. We went from Conor versus Chad Mendes for an interim title to a champion versus champion match that December, Jose versus Conor. Then Conor's like, nah, I don't like this featherweight thing. So they said, all right, Jose Aldo versus Frank Edgar, interim belt. And then they're like, Conor's like, no, I'm not going back to featherweight. Okay, Jose's the champion. Well, we have this belt in we have this main event pay-per-view that just fell out. We need a belt to be defended. Okay, how about Max Holloway fights for the belt now? Make that an interim belt. All right, and we're probably going to see a interim belt in that one in the next year again for some stupid reason. I am just annoyed with that, with the interim belt fever in the UFC right now. Okay, actually breaking down this fight now. Aldo, when you look at him, he likes to stay out of the kicking reach and then throw a flying knee or overhand right to close the distance. He is very good at closing the distance against his opponents. Conor was able to see that and knew that Aldo would do that and catch him with that famous hook in the 13-second fight. So Aldo will kind of stay really far out of your reach, then explode in with a knee and or an overhand right, and then let loose with a flurry of punches that puts the fear of God into you. Another thing that Aldo does well: leg kicks all day, every day. He likes to line up a power right. He's gonna try and keep the pressure on Holloway and make this more of a fight. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just looking at my notes. Sorry, I should have read these over. Yeah. But okay. Something that you got to look out for with Aldo is he is susceptible to that left hook. Connor saw this. Aldo went in looking for a fight and got caught by a sniper. And it's not in just the Connor fight. He gets caught with that hook a lot. He buries his head, and he is really vulnerable to it. Holloway is going to go into this one. He likes to stay in boxing range. He likes to keep the pressure on and line up his power left. Thing you have to know is Aldo is not going to run from these. He's going to try and counter with a flurry of punches. Take one of Holloway's punches to let loose with 3 or 4 or 5 of his own. Holloway's probably going to go into this one looking for a 5-round fight. He won't try to finish Aldo. He won't be trying to get fight of the night. He's going to try and outpoint him every round with a higher pace and see if Aldo can keep up with him, like he did with Cub Swanson, like he did with Ricardo Lamas, like he did with Anthony Pettis, and maybe take it to the ground to squeak by on some rounds. Try and really get those points on his side. Aldo's going to try and make this into a fight. I think that this will be a good fight for Aldo, and I think he will get that decision victory and remind a lot of people why he was at the top of that division for so long. Agree with me? Disagree with it? Let me know. Leave a comment. Follow the YouTube page. Go like the Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram at DudleyDiggs.com. No, just at DudleyDiggs. That's not how Twitter handles work. And I'll see you next month for UFC 213. I believe that's the Cormier Jones card again. I have broken down that card enough times. All right, see ya. Bye.